Well, we are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Our guest is THDA's Ralph Perry, Tennessee Housing Development Agency, and talking about the plan in terms of first-time home. You guys do a lot more than just help first-time home buyers, and you know, we were talking about some of that during the break. No tax dollars?
Right. We receive no state-appropriated dollars.
That's sweet.
What we do, I mean, we're as your state housing finance agency, we finance mortgages. We have about $2 billion worth of those mortgages on our books, and the earnings from that portfolio pay for everything that we do.
Including your staff of what, 200?
275. You know, we punch well above our weight when you look at everything we do.
Say with all you.
Yeah, but you know, the earnings also give us an extra amount that we can plow back to support counseling operations, to support grants. We do about $8 million worth of grants to various groups, and on top of all that, we run 9 federal programs on the state's behalf. So it's a bigger range of responsibilities than most of the nation's state housing agencies are given. And the fact that I view it as a real vote of confidence in our team that the Governor and General Assembly give all of that to an agency of 275 people.
Right. Well, and you've been there for 5 years yourself, have you not?
About 5.5, yeah.
I've been doing a good job. So
thank you.
Let's take a call from Ronnie. We've got some water there for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Ronnie, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your mind?
Okay, I'm 60 years old, and I'm deeply in debt. If I lose my home, can I wait 3 years and still get another one, or does that credit go bad on you?
Well, it would depend on what sort of credit rating you have at the time, Ronnie. What I would suggest to you is go talk to one of the home buyer education counselors that are listed there. There are still some ways that people can work with you around your debt. If some of that is mortgage debt, there are some programs even that we might be able to help you with that can help you maybe restructure that mortgage or look for some other ways to help you avoid losing the home.
What kind of debt are you talking about, Ronnie?
Mostly my house and phone bill that they said I owe and I don't.
Yeah.
So you've fallen behind on that, and so so if he's in debt, so the thing is, if he gets out of this situation and he gets through those 3 years to become so-called first-time homeowner, that's part of the criteria. But the other criteria is you're going to have to look at how much debt he's carrying.
Yeah, I mean, what's the debt load and what's the credit score?
So maybe during those 3 years, whatever he does in the interim there, you work on getting that debt addressed somehow, like you were saying.
If you think you may be in danger of losing your home to a foreclosure or short sale or anything like that, before it gets to that point, I would talk to a counselor, today, because there are still some programs out there, some of which run through us, where we might be able to help you stay in your home.
Where does he reach these counselors?
On our website at greatchoicetn.com, there's also a list of homebuyer education counselors. If you live around Nashville, Affordable Housing Resources comes immediately to mind. They're excellent counselors. They do a lot of this kind of work. They can almost certainly give you some helpful advice. And if you qualify for some of the assistance programs we have for borrowers who are in danger of losing their home, they can get you in touch with us.
Okay, and the website's great, just in case, and I don't know about Ronnie, but others may not always have access to a computer for whatever reason. Is there, and we can put it up later in the show, you may not know it off the top of your head, is there a general number, phone number we can give out that people can call?
Well, if you call our main number at 815-2200, you'll get our customer response center and give them a quick once-over on what you're looking for, and they will route you to an appropriate person at THDA who can put you in the right direction. That helps.
I mean, the computer's the way to go because you can get to all that information quickly, Ronnie, but did you say 815?
815-2200, I want to say.
All right, so that's the way to go. So, Ronnie, look into it. Maybe, as he suggested, get some counseling. There may be some things that you haven't thought of they could help you with, huh?
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
luck, sir. Thank you.
It's a tough one when people fall into debt, and then that. Gosh,
well, you know, that was a lot of the original hardest hit fund money. We put that to work, and there are hundreds of people that we helped prevent foreclosures
ended up upside down back in the 2008.
And we still have a little bit of money left that under certain circumstances we can help people who are in immediate danger of losing their home. So I wouldn't waste any time. I would call about that today and see if there's something out there that we can help you with.
Yeah, it might surprise you, Ronnie, if you give that call. Again, it's area code 615-815 2200. All right, let's go to Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hey, good morning.
Hey.
So this guy, he works for Tennessee. I'm late to the show. Tennessee Housing.
Yeah, the Tennessee Housing and Development Agency.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So is his offices in Nashville?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and so he's a state employee, right?
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
State employee.
Yeah, that big tall building with the white building with the windows, that's the Tennessee State building, right?
That is one of the state office buildings.
The Tennessee Tower. Now, he's in the Andrew
I'm
Jackson.
not in that building,
Yeah.
but it's a nice one.
So what I was calling about is my house is paid for. I moved out to the country a few years ago. I'm 52. I'm hoping to retire at 55, but I may not be able to do the 62. But which people, like, they own their homes, and they go in to get these mortgages. Their houses are paid for. Some older people, they've fallen to victims of scams. And like, I don't see why people would take out a mortgage on their house, even if it's not paid for. I guess a second mortgage for home improvements.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people. Now, listen, I don't want to get too far astray, but I am curious, and that's okay, because if we have other questions about it, do you guys deal with scams or get into anything like that when someone comes forward with something like that?
You know, we generally refer those to the Attorney General's office.
Okay, if there's something criminal going on, right?
We have seen people advertise, where they just kind of scramble. Instead of THDA, it'll be TDHA, and they'll offer certain things. And when we learn about those, the Attorney General has taken them to court, and I want to tell you, the Attorney General's undefeated in our behalf. So we're always alert to that. But I do want to tell the gentleman that we are working on a pilot basis with some of our federal funds to make home repair and rehab loans available on a responsible basis to lower income homeowners who have that need. They have an older home, they want to stay in it, they need to fix it up or maybe make it a little bit more mobility friendly, and we'll be rolling that product out in the coming weeks.
That's awesome. Do they, are there programs, did you mention this earlier, where if you make your home green or energy efficiency, or is that more local programs?
Those tend to be local
That's
programs.
what I thought.
Now,
I know NES and
you know,
such.
I think with our modernization program, if you're going to rehab your home with one of our loans, I think one of the things a lot of people want to do is to make it more energy efficient, because it'll cut your utility bills.
Sure.
But we don't have a specific make your house green type product.
Okay. All right. Well, do you have a thumbnail of the types of homes that have been purchased over the last year? I mean, are they newly built homes? Are they older homes?
Well,
are they
in the designated zip codes? The criteria is existing home.
Okay, so you can't build one.
Right, yeah. The thinking is we want to bring people back into a neighborhood, and they're buying an existing home.
I'm glad we said
that. Around the state, it's a range. The challenge that a lot of our borrowers have, because remember, we're dealing with an average household income of less than $60,000 a year for our borrower. You don't see very many people building brand new homes at entry-level price points. Certainly not around Nashville.
Nope.
Now, there are a few, because I think builders are starting to recognize that that's where the growth market is, and there are some notable builders. Our partners at Old South, for example, they're starting to build subdivisions of homes with prices start around $225,000 to $250,000.
What about some of those tiny homes?
You know, those would be
home?
great fun for some people.
It's not right for everyone, but you know what? It would be in the price range, and if it's just a single individual, maybe I don't.
You could buy one of those with our mortgages if it's fixed, if you own the land and it's fixed to the land.
Yeah, I don't know if any of those exist. It's a new thing, and there's a few popping up around here.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, but I don't. That's generally not what our customers are looking for.
Your customers, again, more families, you would think, or more individuals?
Well, we get a nice mix, to be honest with you.
Because I think this especially appeals to me when I think about maybe a couple with a young child or two, and that they really want a home. Now, a single person too, but the families who I'd like to see get the homes.
Yes, and I think that's probably the majority. I'd have to take a look at the breakdown, but I think folks, as they form households, they start to think about home ownership. And that may be a little later than it might have been 10 or 20 years ago, but at some point they get to the point where, I'd like to put down roots, I'd like to buy a home, and we have a product that's very, very helpful for them.
The big picture when you do this and what you're doing, is it viewed by the governor and the others who and the feds that this in general helps the state's economy?
Well, yeah.
That's what it's all about, is bolstering. I mean, it's kind of a silly question. Of course it does, but I mean, in these areas that maybe we're suffering a bit.
Well, you know, when you bring dozens of new homeowners into an area that hasn't had a lot of that activity over the years. I mean, not that renters are bad people, but think about it. When you buy a home,
you have more ownership.
Right.
I mean,
you
what
care
I mean
about
is you
your
care
house,
about it. You're not just
care
nomadic.
that your neighbors are taking care of the home. You're more likely to be involved in the community because it matters to you that the streets are safe, the schools are good, the park is available, those kinds of things. You're more likely to be invested. That's how you build good neighborhoods and strong communities.
But with that just hit me a question to let you follow up. But if someone does buy one of these places, are they required to live there? What if they turn around and not sell it but rent it out?
No, that's not allowed.
Okay, so you'd be aware. I mean, you're not allowed to buy it and then become a renter.
Right. We don't sell to investors. You know, it is owner-occupied home ownership, and that's clearly written
and for the
out
very
there.
reason of what you're just describing. You want someone who's going to become a part of the community and put down roots.
We're there. There are plenty of financing options for someone who wants to buy properties with the intent on renting them out.
Yeah, right.
There are plenty of products. We're a small part of the overall mortgage finance market. What we can do, though, is serve that first-time home buyer modest means. And when you think about it, this is how we help the economy. When the economy moves, it's because housing is strong. And housing is strong when first-time home buyers are in the market. The first-time home buyer that we help is buying the house that your move-up buyer has to sell before she can move up.
So everyone's...
That's how you get the churn. That's how you get the economic growth and vitality.
Let's take a call from Leonard. Leonard, good morning.
Yes.
Hi, Leonard. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, partner. I'm kind of, I got a piece of property with, it's a mobile home on it, and the owner's been carrying the note for the last 10 years, and the way it's set up, hardly anything is going to the principal, and I'm kind of wanting to refinance, and it's hard to find somebody to refinance on a mobile home, and I was wondering if you had any things to steer me towards, any phone numbers or something. I have actually almost a 700 FICO score. I had a bankruptcy about 6 or 7 years ago. This month it will be off my credit. I'm only about $5,000 in debt out of about 14 credit cards. I got a lot of them with no balances. I like kind of juggling them.
Okay, hang tight. Before we go to the break, give him an answer. Do you know if there is any service available for that?
Well, if you own the land as well as the home, yes, someone ought to be able to help you finance that. I would start with where you bank now. If that's a lender who works with THDA's Great Choice, it sounds like from what you're telling me, you're going to qualify on the basis of credit score and debt-to-income ratio. We probably need to get you with a lender who can ask you some more specific questions. But if you own the land as well as the modular home, then there ought to be a refi thing.
I just want to be clear. You don't own the land, though, do you? And the modular, you're renting, aren't you?
No, it's a land contract.
It's a contract, but it's not yours. It's someone else's, and you want to refinance or something?
Yes, I'd like to pay them off because everything that I've been paying, I've already paid over $30,000. I only owe $28,000. In the last 10 years, I've gotten maybe $1,500 off of principal.
You know, you might want to start with one of our home buyer education counselors and just have them talk you through it. You can go into a little more detail with them than you can with us here, and they might be able to point you in the right direction and give you some good advice about that situation, because it raises a number of questions in my mind, but I'd urge you to go see a counselor and get started.
Yeah, the number is on the screen if you want to call it, Leonard. You asked if there's a number where you can seek something out. Maybe they can give you some guidance on that, you know, the details of your situation, more complex. It's 815-2200. Also on the computer, greatchoicetn.com. You can go to that as well. We're going to take a break, and I'll put all that information up again, by the way, at the very end of the show if you didn't have a pen and paper. But we'll get those numbers out. We'll take more calls, continue our conversation with my good buddy here right after this. Stay with us.
Thank you.